Hello, welcome back to Transistor TV. You're here with your sisters, starting off with me, Angel Qinan, a registered nurse and an actress, and I'm here also with Ally.
Hi everyone, my name is AllyCat Castle. I'm co-host with my three amazing co-trans Pinays. Yes, and of course today's topic is transgender sacrifice. Yes, but we're going to be talking about sacrifice in general as well. But as transgender women, we also would like to share with you the things that we sacrifice in order for us to live our truth today. So back to you, Angel, to introduce our amazing, lovely co-host. Yes.
Yeah, such a timely topic during Lent season. And of course, we're also joined by your sister, Miss Lee 065, or Lee Faelnar.
Hi all, welcome to Transistors TV. As Angel said, what's wrong with my voice?
Oh my God, you're sacrificing.
Welcome to Transistors TV. As Angel said, my name is Lee065. I'm an actor and I work in production here in Los Angeles, California. Hopefully you didn't really sacrifice your time watching us and you're having a good time, actually.
Yes, I think it will be a sacrifice if they did not watch us tonight. And of course, we are also joined by, all the way from the Philippines, Miss Sonia, the only one fashion stylist and events.
Mabuhay in the US and in the world, and Yokozo in Japan. And I'm Sonia, the only one, Sonia Adriani. I work as a fashion stylist and of course in events also. And welcome to Transistor TV. Hello, beautiful ladies.
Yes, back to you, Ally. You're on mute. Ally, you're on mute.
So many glitches today, but anyway, our topic for today is sacrifice and of course, transgender sacrifice as well. But first and foremost, I would like to ask everyone here in the panel, by the way, hello to everyone in our live chat. If you are in our live chat, please say hi. We would love to hear what you have to say as well, especially on our topic today. So whoever wants to go first, please give me your own definition of what sacrifice means to you. Who wants to go first?
For me, sacrifice is kind of like giving up something that you really love to do or you maybe can't live without. You know, in history, it might be sacrificing an object or something like that. For me specifically, like growing up as a kid during Lent season, sacrificing is maybe giving up something like, you know, like meat for the on Fridays or on Wednesdays. So for me, sacrifice is kind of giving up a portion of you, or that something maybe hurts a little bit, just so that for a common good or for whatever goal that you have.
So for me, my personal definition of thank you for that, Angel. For me, my personal definition of what sacrifice is, it's definitely something bigger than just giving up something. It's something that entails your heart. It's something that entails your purpose. And it's something that entails a bigger picture overall. It's also something where we actually offer something, but we're not guaranteed of what the results will be. So that is my own definition of what sacrifice is. How about you, Miss Lee and Adi Sonia? What for you is sacrifice? By the way, hello to Salman and hello Adi Karen as well. Go ahead, Lee. Please let me know what your own definition of what sacrifice is.
I think Angel, like for me, hit it on the nail.
The nail on the head.
Hit it on the nail with the definition of sacrifice. I think it's plain and simple. I think it's just like giving up something that has some value to you, may it be small or big.
Thank you, Lee. How about you, Ate Sonia? What is your own definition of what sacrifice is?
Sacrifice in Japanese, what it is called sasageru. Sasageru, sasagemasu. It means sacrificing. Sasagemasu, sasageru. Or jisei, it depends on how you're sacrificing something that you will do. But for me, you just have to sacrifice today and enjoy the benefits tomorrow.
Thank you for that, Ate Sonia. Sweet and simple. So, yeah, so basically now let me actually give you what the definition is of sacrifice. So, according to vocabulary.com, it's actually a very simple meaning. A sacrifice is a loss or something you give up, usually for the sake of a better cause. So, why do you think that sacrifice entails a better cause? It's not just like you giving up something.
I mean, as a Catholic and Christian, I think we look up to Jesus Christ, and I think she pretty much he sacrificed his life for all of us. So I think it really kind of shows that we can sacrifice something for a common good. Obviously, I mean, ours can come in different sizes. That's what we spoke about. It could be something as small, and with the hope that it's going to be something better. As what Ate Sonia said, sacrifice today so we can have a better tomorrow.
Yes, and if I could answer that question, the difference of just giving up something versus sacrifice with a better cause, it definitely, like what Angel said, it actually is like for the common good. There's actually more in it. There's more into there's you definitely you give more of yourself once you actually do it. Like it's something that you need to think more of, not just you just doing things for the sake of doing things. So that's the reason why there's value in it. And that's the reason why sometimes it's harder to make a sacrifice, because you know what is there's actually a bigger picture that is related to it. How about you, Miss Lee and Ate Sonia? Why is it that sacrifice is not just an act of giving up, and why is it for a better cause? Okay.
I know. Why is it not only an act of giving up? Well, you know what? Like, here's the thing. Like, for me, like a sacrifice, you can do it, but it doesn't mean like it's gonna be beneficial. You know. So that's why, like, for me, plain and simple, it's giving something up, because like you have values. Sometimes that you kind of go by, and it might be like against your values, the sacrifice that you're doing. But you're still doing that sacrifice because there's other things that are more important to you, or kind of more necessary to you at the moment. So I really I don't always think it's for the greater good though. Sometimes you just have to do it because it's kind of can be also in necessity, so that you can't be in danger or in harm or whatnot. And it does hurt. It does kind of, and for the most part, there's like some sort of giving up of something of you when you do a sacrifice. So I don't know if it's anything more or less than that.
But it sounds like the examples that you already gave, it's something for good. May it be safety, like your own safety, like sacrificing something so that you're going to be safe. And then the other one is sacrificing something.
But it's not greater good though.
The other one, I mean, but it's
like
something.
I mean, it's my
better.
safety. It's not greater. I'm like not thinking of the whole. I'm just thinking of myself.
Well, at the end, it still valued you. How about you, Ate Sonia? What for you is the difference between just giving up something versus sacrifice?
As Miss Lee said and you ladies said, it can be a good cause, it can be a bad cause, like you're sacrificing it. But for me, it's your devotion, your how you will deal of sacrificing something for yourself, and it will benefit not just you but your family and your community. And I think that it is a thing that you have to really think about 100 times before you do it. Even in eating, I think dieting is a sacrifice. So that's a very good thing that's a very good thing to be you're being very, what do you call this, you're I'm sorry. I when you're dieting, you just have to eat this, and this, and this. So that's a sacrifice. You cannot eat rice, but you can eat this. I think that is your sacrifice. So I mean, rice is good, rice is bad, but you have to sacrifice.
So basically, I like what Ate Sonia gave as an example. It's calculated sacrifice, I believe, meaning you kind of like have an idea what to expect because of the things that you do, which is a literal meaning of what sacrifice is. So let me actually like read some comments. We actually have some very, very good comments right here. Ate Karen said, sacrifice entails losing one's ego. That is not always about you, and that others come first. That's definitely true, especially like within the Filipino community. I'm gonna go with Salmon is my color after I ask the next question, because Salmon's answer in regards to sacrifice is related to us transgender community, so the transgender community. So to everyone, as transgender women, what is it that you sacrificed in order for you to live your truth? Again, as transgender women, what is it that you've sacrificed in order for you to live your truth? I think one of the things that I've sacrificed then when I transitioned was I was ready to like lose my job. Because at that time, there was not really like Caitlyn Jenner was not yet out. I think in a way, some way, somehow, one of the things that the good things that she did brought out in this world is when she came out, because she's a celebrity superstar, like more people actually wanted to know what being transgender is. But before her, there was not really like a big role model or someone who really said what being transgender is in like that celebrity status level. And so I was ready to lose my job then, because I knew some people then who, because I was the first to transition at my job. It was not like as if I had someone to look up to saying, oh my gosh, this is how you transition your job. This is how I'm going to do it. So I was ready to lose my job because I felt like it was more important for me to live my truth first. And then after that, I will navigate how I will live my life then. So that's actually what I sacrificed then. Like me not caring anymore if I lose my job. But thank God that I did not. But on that case, when I did, I was ready to lose my job. So again, as transgender women, what is it that you've sacrificed in order for you to live your truth?
I want to hear Lee's reaction because I saw her face.
Yeah, I saw her eyebrows. Lee, go ahead.
No, because I just heard Caitlyn Jenner. I just feel like that's like a huge example of what white privilege is, to be honest, because Janet Mock already was like making such a huge buzz during that time. Laverne Cox was already making a huge buzz. Gina Rosero already was also making a huge buzz. The thing is like they're white. And if you think of like trans people from the past that you would like think of like in the story, like what is that, like the Dutch girl, I forgot her name,
girl,
the Danish girl, the Danish girl. Yeah, so like they're all like white too. Like I think like we forget like trans women have been, it transcends color, and if we think of it, there are so many that that have been examples for us already. It's just not put in the forefront because it's white privilege, and they're the ones that kind of like push like this, that, whatever, and like yeah.
So going back to the question then, as transgender women, for you, Lee, personally, what is it that you've sacrificed in order for you to live your truth?
I think I sacrificed everything because I had nothing to lose. It's like my answer to that is like I sacrificed everything because I had nothing to lose. It's either that or death.
I love how passionate Lee is, right? It's a matter of life and death. And that's pretty much for most of us in the community. Angel, how about you? As a transgender woman, what is it that you've sacrificed in order for you to live your truth?
Oh, I've sacrificed so many things, from not even coming out as my true self. So I'm sacrificing because I wanted to stay with family, to kind of being independent on my own. And I really can't live without being able to transition, without giving myself a chance to live more, that I was willing to sacrifice, what other consequences there might be, which at that time I was pretty much, working as a registered nurse. I didn't really care if I'm going to lose my job already at that point. I'm going to look for another job if they're not going to support me with my decision. I met Lee at that time, my trans mom, and she really like coached me a lot before I transitioned in terms of like family, for example, because that's the biggest thing for me. That's why I wasn't able to transition at a younger age that I wanted to at 17, because I would have lost, my family at that time. That at a later age, basically Lee told me that it's like family may react this way, but if you show to them that you're actually living a good life, that you are, not what they're scared about, then you could pretty much still win their hearts back, if you get lucky. Luckily, it didn't have to go that way, because at that point, my mom already knew and she accepted us. But for some of our transgender siblings, they would be disowned, but it might be okay for now, and you can keep trying to win their hearts back. In the end, you're all family. But if not, then as what Lee said, what matters more is for you to live than to lose your life. So it's a big sacrifice, I think, for us just to be transgender, because there's no guarantee that we're going to be accepted by everyone, and there's no guarantee that we're going to be successful in life. But there's a guarantee that you're going to live the life that you want.
That hit my heart. Guaranteed for you to live the life that you want, regardless if the world turned its back to you. Ate Sonia, how about you? As a transgender woman, what is it that you've sacrificed in order for you to live your truth?
Sacrificing, I think I would just enumerate, since from my younger years, I sacrificed my health because of taking all those hormonal pills or something. I think I sacrificed my health then. I sacrificed my education because I chose to go to Japan as an overseas Filipino worker. I sacrificed my family time because I was always in Japan working as an entertainer for the past 15 years. I think I sacrificed the family time. And of course, I sacrificed my own life because I had a surgery, and I think it can be successful. It cannot be successful. So I think that's the four things that I sacrifice a lot in my existence. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you so much for those detailed examples. And in regards to your answer, Ate Sonia, Salman said a lot of trans people sacrifices their health for beauty, which is unfortunate. And Miss Karen said, Miss Lena said, I think friendship, jobs, and possibly losing family are things we sacrifice. Also, we sacrifice the ability to find a partner without having to explain ourselves. Yeah, that's really, really hard. Oh my gosh, Miss Lena, you actually hit so many ballpoints right there. So my next question then is, so when making a sacrifice, do you expect something in return? Do you expect something in return when making a sacrifice? I'll be honest, most of the time, some way, somehow, I hope that there's going to be a positive outcome whenever I make a sacrifice. But in the end, I also say that if it doesn't happen, they will be done. But some way, somehow, I'm guilty sometimes that when I make a sacrifice, it's because I hope that my good deeds are seen, and that I hope that because of the deeds that I do, that some of my prayers will be answered. In some way, somehow, I know that that's wrong, but I'm guilty of that. So do you expect something in return when making a sacrifice?
First of all, I don't think it's wrong to expect something when you do sacrifice, because I think that's why you're making a sacrifice, because you want a result. Is it realistic to expect something in return when you make a sacrifice? No, because you don't have control with what other people will do or how the universe will react to the sacrifices that you make. But I think it's hypocrite to say that you're not expecting anything if you're trying to sacrifice, because what's the point of sacrificing if there's not going to be any result? Why would you be even sacrificing if you don't expect something that would maybe hopefully change? If you're not hoping, if you don't have any hope then why would you still sacrifice? I think it's definitely I'm expecting something when I try to sacrifice, but it's not a guarantee that something will change. So part of my my mental health in doing sacrifices is to accept the fact that it may not happen, whatever it is that I want to happen when I make sacrifices. Lee?
I hate that my voice is like so weird.
I'm sorry.
It just happened all of a sudden, y'all. What is this?
Do you expect something in return when making a sacrifice?
I think yes. I think that's why you're making a sacrifice. You know, like if you sacrifice not spending money so that you can save, you expect to have some sort of saving so that you can spend money. If you're sacrificing being your authentic self so that family won't disown you and they wouldn't like, you know, make fun of you or whatnot, or then you're hoping that, you know, at least your family would take care of you and love you. I mean, the the cons of your sacrifice, you probably are just gonna have to experience hindsight, or just like, you know, like, because like me as a kid sacrificing transitioning because that's not what societal norms are, took a huge toll on my mental health and also my confidence and my my security in myself, you know. So we hope that those sacrifices that we've done at least takes us to a place where, you know, like this is like so dumb. Like even like when you do sacrifices for Lent, like your main goal is not to go to hell, so that you can go to heaven. So like I think like, sorry, I think it's stupid to think like you need to sacrifice so that you can have eternal life or salvation. That's why, like, I don't know. I'm like, that's a story for another day.
Angel, can you ask a question to Ate Sonia, because I have sirens right here?
Ate Sonia, it's your turn. Do you expect something when you make sacrifices?
Yes. But if there is not good result, make sure that I'll just make sure that, well, it was meant to be. I think the best thing that you did a sacrificial thing, but if it does not happen in the good way, if it doesn't have any good results, then just let it be. Then just think of, if it is not for me, then I am sacrificing for somebody else. I'm doing it for somebody else. So I think that's always normal, that you sacrifice. Why are you sacrificing? Because you want results. You want results, and you can sacrifice something not for yourself, but for your family, for your friends, for somebody. Think for a sick person, a sick friend, you can talk, okay, I will not eat, like I will not do this for a couple of days, just to have a good little news for a friend who is sick, that will she get the better. And you know, you always hope for good results, and that's very, very a positive look. And that's why we do it. Sacrifice.
So I have a question for everyone. This might be a little bit challenging, and I just want to hear your answers. I mean, I have my own answer. I'll answer last. So we all grew up Catholic in the Philippines, and we all know about Lent and kind of making sacrifices. And one of the most common thing that we know is sacrificing eating meat on Wednesday and or Friday. Since we all spoke about like maybe expecting some sort of benefit from sacrificing, what benefit do you get from sacrificing not eating meat on Wednesday or Friday?
Well, you definitely lose weight. That's one of the benefits that you get for sure. So who wants to go next? Ate Sonia, Miss Lee? Go ahead. I mean, it's a quick answer.
With that, fasting, cleansing, that's all. I don't expect what will be the result. So it's just for one day, and the next day you just have to go to a buffet and eat a lot of those things. So it's an achievement. I always say it's an achievement, physically, mentally, So, and spiritually.
Lee.
Miss Lee, how about you?
Like as a child, I thought like doing that is gonna give you like graces so that like you can have extra merit. I thought already being queer was like a huge demerit for me, and that would take me to purgatory. So at least like those little sacrifices, you kind of have like those pluses on like the book that God tallies whether you're going to, or like is it St. Peter? St. Peter tallies whether like you're going to heaven or hell. That's me as a like naive little child. Now I don't sacrifice eating anything during Lenten season because I've learned giving something up is kind of easy for 40 days and then you can just go back to the habit of doing something again. I've learned to just take on something instead, like take on trying to, you know, if I'm like in the grocery store and I see like carts scattered like on the parking lot, I'll help try to arrange those carts and put them back, something like that, something that I feel like I'm paying forward, because that can become a habit of mine. And if it would become a habit of mine, I think that's better than sacrificing something. So yeah, I guess like for me, like no, nothing at all, unless just like trying to go through scripture. And I forgot really what the meaning of sacrificing meat was. I'm not sure if it was an unclean type of food. So if I go to detail, I'll have to make research again because like I completely forgot, y'all, because like I stopped doing it a long time.
Well, go ahead,
So
Angel. How about you? How will you answer your question?
So the way I would answer that question is, luckily growing up, faith has evolved in my mentality. So obviously, similar to Lee, growing up as a kid, it's something that you just do on Lent because you want to go to heaven and you want all those more check marks, and you know that you're gonna go to hell if you you don't follow whatever is the norm. Because I've gone to church, like a community church here, like Metropolitan Foundation's Founders Metropolitan Community Church. Oh my God, I'm like tongue twisted right now. I see the value of like going to church as a community, going to church with like-minded people. And I think during Lent, if you're sacrificing not eating meat on a Wednesday and Friday, that's kind of being part of that community who's like-minded, who have faith, and you know that you're God-fearing, and that whatever goodness it brings on our faith with our relationship with God. So I think it's a small sacrifice that may not have very physical effects, but because of like, it's almost like a fellowship doing that, and it helps you kind of be more focused with the goals that you have in life.
Thank you for that, Angel. Love that. Let me actually read some comments. Miss Karen said, sacrifice is given voluntarily for a higher, better, ultimate cause. It is not a fight or flight. This is when you really don't have a choice. Miss Lena said, we can expect that our choices would lead us to a happier life and position ourselves in a positive way in our mental health. But I don't expect others to provide anything in return. So my next question would be then is sacrificing making a gamble then? Or is that even wrong to ask? Is sacrifice making a gamble then? Or is that even wrong to be asked? I guess if you actually look at it in the religious context, I mean, definitely you cannot say that that's making a gamble. I actually think that me even asking that question in the religious sense is a sin. But I actually think that sacrifice is something that we don't do every day. But sacrifice is something that we do when it's not in our most convenient time. So that's the reason why I think, like, for example, having this topic right now, sacrifice, it's a hard topic to discuss, but I think it needs to be discussed because we live in a very modern time where we have so much information out there, not knowing if it's facts or not. But at the same time, we also were raised, especially the four of us, in a culture that is very traditional and very religious. So again, my question is sacrificing making a gamble then? Or is that even wrong to be asked?
I don't think it's wrong to ask questions about what sacrifice means to you. I feel like you make calculated risk anyways when you live your life daily. So I feel like everything that you do in life, there's risks and benefits involved. Some may just be more calculated because like percentage wise, that's the result that you normally expect. Like if you expect to use your car 100, like more or less, like I have no idea what chance you are to reach your destination, but like your expectation is to reach your destination and not get into an accident, but there's still a gamble and a risk for you getting into an accident. It's like, y'all, like, have you not watched zombie movies lately or like zombie series where you're like, well, that's dumb that they did that. Like, they didn't think that through, and like now they sacrificed not only themselves but the rest of the colleagues for that little tiny action that they did. Because like that's just like all that I think. Like you can really think that there's sort of a consequence to your actions, and that's just for anything.
Very, very, very valid point. Again, thank you for that, Lee, Angel, and Ate Sonia, and to everyone in our live chat. Is sacrifice making a gamble then, or is it even wrong for me to ask that question?
I think it depends on how you ask the question. If you're asking the question as if you're challenging the other person's sacrifices, then maybe it might be wrong, because you're not respecting their choices. I think it's wrong if we don't even ask ourselves why we do things. I think we should like have purpose in doing things that we do. Just like why I asked that question earlier about not eating meat on Fridays or Wednesdays. I think we should know why we're doing that or what benefit we have in kind of doing what that is. But asking the question maybe in a condescending way, then definitely that's, I think, wrong and not respectful. Is it a gamble? Definitely. We spoke about that earlier in terms of our sacrifices in coming out as transgender people, that there might be a lot of other consequences that are not in our control, or that we don't know if it's going to happen or not. So I think definitely it's a gamble. Gamble as a term have a negative connotation, but really, as what Lee said, it's risks. It's part of what we do every day. Every day that we walk out of the door, it's a gamble for our life. There's no guarantee that we're going to live after today,
Wow. Very powerful. Miss Sonia, it is your turn. Is sacrificing making a gamble then, or is it even wrong for me to ask that question?
Life is a gamble, and the moment that you were born, I think you just have to face all the sacrifice things, events, or whatever that will happen in your life. You can take it as like a cup of tea, or you can just hit it. You just slam it in your face of what is your life is about. Is it right to be asked? You can think about it. You can have a thought about it of what is that. There are many things to ponder in, but as a gamble thing, as you said, win or lose. But definitely, even if you win, even if you lose, you will learn something from that. So just as long as you're living day to day and facing all the gamble in your life, and the next day you wake up again and said, oh my God, I'm facing every sacrifice that I am encountering in my life, maybe it good or bad. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you, Ate Sonia, for that. Let me actually read some comments as well in regard to eating meat. So Salmon is my color said, I gained empathy when I stopped eating meat. Sacrificing my taste buds for meat has helped me gain a better understanding of my health and empathy. I actually like that. It's true. Isn't it true that sometimes when we actually make sacrifice, that we actually know the value of something that we take for granted? And then Michael said this, but I cannot really guarantee it. Michael Gregory said, lots of Buddhists, Jains, Hindus, Sikhs, and Taoists don't eat meat, period. There are devoted Buddhists and Jains won't eat root vegetables. So there. And Miss Karen said in the question about is sacrificing making a gamble then, or is it even wrong for me to ask? Miss Karen said, agree, Ally, you do something that is not convenient for you. Yes, you have to ask what you are sacrificing for. This is important in order for you to make that decision. So my next question then is, why is sacrificing not so easy? Why is
you call the
sacrificing not so
sacrifice
easy?
if it's easy? It will be like rewarding yourself and not sacrificing. So I think it won't be a sacrifice. It won't if it's easy. Then I'll just put it as simple as that.
I go ahead, Lee.
There's effort that you put into sacrificing. I feel like even pursuing acting, there's like a huge investment that you have to make. All of like you're sacrificing putting yourself out there and not getting any type of recognition, answer, whatnot at all. And you used a lot of time, like you can use a lot of time doing that. But like again, like the song and the chorus line, you know, like what I did for love, like these are like to me, like that really resonates because they're dancers. For the passion that they had for dancing, even though they don't work all the time, and like dancing every day can like do so much to your body, hurt your body, whatnot. You can get broken bones, twisted ankles. Like if you're lifted in the air, you can fall down and hurt yourself. But they all do that because they're super passionate about it, regardless of how hard it is for you.
You actually hit the. I love what you said about what I did for love. That is what sacrifice is. What you did for love. Ate Sonia, about you, why is sacrificing not easy?
Why is it not easy? Because of course you're devoting, as I've said, you're devoting your time, your effort, yourself into that, and you are sacrificing because you just want to be very you just want to have that thing that you always want to do, even if you're not into it. If you sacrifice a thing that you see that, oh my God, there will be good results, but there is a risk also. So as Miss Lee said, I was not in Japan as an entertainer. I was not a dancer at all. I didn't even know how to dance. But despite that I want to go to Japan as an entertainer, but I don't even know to dance. But it is my passion. It is in my calling that I have to be an entertainer and dance. So I have to learn to dance, even though I have 2 left feet. But I did. I conquered. I sacrificed my whole body with all the muscle pain, body ache. So, it is not easy to sacrifice things.
For me, it's not easy to make a sacrifice because you are not your typical self. And when you are not your typical self, it's harder sometimes because you have to think. And when you have to think, you also sometimes, as for me, when I do things, I also have to consult my heart. And when I have to think and I have to consult my heart, that is actually sometimes when I get challenged, because I get challenged between doing what's right or what my heart thinks feels that's right. And that's the reason why sometimes sacrificing for me is not easy. Because the social norms of having traditional expectations and living in a modern society that everything is just being given to your face, it's really hard sometimes making a sacrifice. And that's the reason why sacrificing is not easy. On that note, let's read some comments. I'm so serious and emotional here. That's the hormones kicking in. Yes. Miss Lena said, sacrifice is an act of giving up something valued for the sake of something else regarded as more important. Miss Lena's so active tonight. I love it. To give something up of value is never easy. The greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward. Yes. But usually no guarantees, though, she said. So now I want to ask for a fun question. Why is it that I actually love what Miss Lena said? The greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward. Why is it so? Again, why is it so? The greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward. I guess because it's not, again, like if I can answer this question, because you've exerted more effort. And when you actually put more effort into something, when you really work hard into something, for you going outside of the box, there you go, then that for me is one of the things that's synonymous to sacrifice, because you're thinking outside of the box. You're looking at like the bigger picture. You're not being contained in your own room. You're actually thinking of the bigger picture outside your window, outside your door. Just like what we said, that once we actually step outside the door, that there's no guarantees.
Like there's even no guarantees if you're inside.
Exactly.
Like seriously though, like like buildings can collapse all of a sudden. Or your house can be bombed.
Yes. How about you, Lee? Go ahead. To continue what Miss Lena said. So the greater the sacrifice, the greater the rewards. So what can you say about that?
Well, like gambling, for instance, or like even in investments, like there's a conservative investment, there's moderate investment, and there's aggressive investments. Like you put your money in an aggressive investments, there's a huge chance that if the market is doing really, really good, your investment can like quadruple in no time. But also at the same time, since there's no net, or there's no what is the word that I'm looking for? Like you there's no net that you're holding on to. Like you can lose all of that money at the same time all at once. But if you're doing a conservative investment, like it's something that's guaranteed already that you're going to have there. There's a big chance that that investment's also going to be insured. So even if you lose it, you can still get something back. It's just like the uncertainty of things can give you like better ROI. Why am I speaking in terms like that?
Yes, ROI, return on investment. So again, Angel, how about you? In continuation to what Miss Lena said about your thought on the greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward.
I don't know if I fully agree with the greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward is. In the Old Testament, we would hear, I forgot who they are already, but kind of, let's say, sacrificing a lamb, and then somebody wanted to sacrifice their son, and I don't know what that would give. So I mean, I think it's not necessarily that the bigger the sacrifice is, the bigger the reward is. But I would probably go more with the bigger your expected reward is, there's a chance that there's a bigger sacrifice that you have to give. So for example, during the pandemic, when I lost my job, I was like kind of torn between a few jobs, and one I'm very more comfortable with because it's a specialty that I've done before, but it pays less and it's really not like a step up from the previous job that I have. And there's this other job, which is case management, that I've never done before, and it's kind of very scary. I'm not sure, there's no guarantee that I'm gonna survive in that type of job, and it was like also far from where I lived, and I sacrificed a lot to kind of push myself to grow better and to be better in that craft and career. And now, like a year and a half later, I think I chose a good path by choosing to sacrifice more of my time, my energy, and my knowledge and effort to grow better as a nurse. So I think yeah. So I won't necessarily equate the higher the sacrifice, the higher the rewards, but I feel like if you're expecting something higher, which is not a guarantee that's going to be successful or not, then I think you have to sacrifice more.
Valid point. I feel like if this is a beauty pageant, it's gonna be very hard for me to choose a winner, including our friends in the live chat as well, because everyone is giving a very valid point. Ate Sonia, a former Manila's prettiest. Um, what is your take on? It's a take, so this is not a Q&A. The greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward. What is your take on that?
Well, the greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward. I would just like to say, when I was in Japan as an entertainer, I had a relationship with a guy that I thought that I will have a great reward, but definitely is, well, I was just like, so I think that I was just like thinking, oh, I will be rewarded. He will give me money. He will give me all that I want. And he was not that good looking. He was even old. He was even, not my typical, but I just have to swallow my pride and swallow my ego and have to live with that sacrifice to go into a relationship with him. But definitely, not all sacrifices have great rewards. He just used me and played with me and just left me. And when he got me, we had this very, very bad experiences. But definitely, he just used me, and I think I didn't even got anything from that. So, and it was my fault because I was just like thinking, oh, I think I will be rewarded if I got into a relationship with this guy. But I was just one of the collection, and I was in the black book. Sonia, done. So yeah, that's
Wow.
one. That's one. Yeah, I sacrificed that, but c'est la vie. And I have a question.
Okay, what's the question? Oh my God. And even have a question after you. What is your question, Ate Sonia? Go ahead.
I'm
Thank you
sorry.
for that, though, for being so vulnerable in telling us your story. So what's your
Yes.
question?
I just want to say, are transgender sacrificial lambs? Because we work hard, some are murdered, are we, are transgender, some of our sisters are experiencing those. So I just want to know, because of their loyalty, what do you think, ladies? Are we sacrificial lambs?
Go ahead, Angel.
I think unfortunately some are. It's definitely not by choice. But as a community, I know visibility is important for all of us. And as what we mentioned before, I look up to a lot of like transgender women from the past who have been brave enough to show themselves, their true selves outside, because they became, at least gave us a little bit of hope. Definitely, as far as murders, in the United States, it's almost like they're sacrificial lambs. But I hope it doesn't have to be like that. So I would say no, we are not. But unfortunately, we kind of, I don't know. Hopefully, we're not. My hope is in the future we're not. Lee.
Please.
I think when a minority possesses huge strength, power, resilience, fortitude, their voice is tried to be silenced by the majority because they fear the power that trans people have. We're breaking norms. We're trying to topple down stereotypes. We're trying to make sure that love is more inclusive of all types of people, all walks of life, regardless where you are. And a lot of people are uncomfortable because they've gotten used to what they've seen from the very beginning when they woke up. Now, like, we're there and we're rattling what is the norm. They fear the change. And if that if that is going to continue, then yes, there's still a lot of us that are going to be persecuted. But what I would say to all of us, like, we are powerful people, and just to make sure, like, you hold on to that light, because your light, regardless of how much they try to put it out, your flicker is so strong, and it could create so much intense light throughout the world.
Wow, Miss Lee. In continuation to what Angel and Miss Lee said, it's hard to think it because I feel like we're like the most minority of the minorities. That's the reason why it's important for us to tell our stories. It's important for us to tell our challenges, share our triumphs, be more visible. Because it's only when we're out in the open that, regardless of how much we're being stepped on, being judged, but if we remain to be strong, if we remain to work hard, to remain to be kind, regardless of what's being thrown at us, it will be a big slap on their face to see that we're still existing. And perhaps by us living our lives the way we do, they will realize someday that we deserve a place in this earth too. So,
Thank you for that
that's my
wonderful
answer to your question.
Yes. Oh my God, what a question I gave. I'm so for me, yes, because they fear us because of our power, our authenticity, because of how we stand for our what we believe in, and they use these people that really malign us and step down on us. They use they're being very powerful, and they use that, and they think that we are weak, and they use that weak, and when they see us in our weak point, then they abuse us, and then eventually some really suffer very much. So I still believe that in these times, we are, even though what's happening every day, there's somebody experiencing something bad, we are here to fight for you. We are here to let you people know we are here to stay, and we will continue to be here in your life and experience us in our good, in our bad, in our success. And we are going there. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for that. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ate Sonia. What a powerful question. By the way, Salman said, I'm sorry to hear that, Ate Sonia. And Miss Lena said, wait, hold on. Let me put on my pageant gown.
Yeah.
And so my final question then would be, wow, what a topic today, right? When do you sacrifice and when do you not sacrifice? I'm going to answer it, but I have sirens. So please answer it. When do you sacrifice and when do you not make a sacrifice?
I think sacrifice is part of life, so we should make sacrifices for our goals. Life is not easy, but that's part of life. So, I mean, when to not make sacrifices if you don't feel like the reward is worth it doing the sacrifices for. So, I think that's my take on when not to make sacrifices.
If I can answer that question, again, I have nothing against anyone's religious beliefs whatsoever. But just like, for example, with Jesus Christ, right? He sacrificed his life to save mankind. So as a human being, as a transgender woman, what is it that I can do or sacrifice for in order for me to be better off to others? That's just like a question. It may be hard, but I will just want to say that we should not be overthinking sacrifice. Sacrificing sometimes can be in the most littlest thing. Sacrificing is, you being there and perhaps giving something to the homeless, whether that be like not in a monetary value, like even just you acknowledging that the person exists. That for me is like one of the sacrifice, that you letting that person know that he belongs here too. And that you are some way, somehow his brother and sister as well. So that for me is what sacrifice is getting out of like your convenience and making sure that every person matters and every person deserves to be heard and to be seen. Miss Lee?
I when not to sacrifice, you said?
When do
when-
you sacrifice and when do you not sacrifice?
I think, again, like I feel like every like decision you make, there's always like you choose. So like there's some little sacrifice that you're going to do with every type of action that you make. But I feel like when it's not beneficial for you anymore and it's gonna drive you crazy, then you should not do it. I feel like, again, like it's like the love part of thing. Like even if it hurts you, you're still gonna do it because like you're still receiving some sort of reward in your heart, regardless of how hard the endeavor is that you're trying to put yourself in. However, if it just gives you resentment, like some sort of resentment or whatnot, then maybe you have to reconsider what you're doing, because maybe it's actually not feeding you and it's killing you more than the benefit is. Like all I could think of, y'all, sorry, I always think of examples. I think of like the people that were supportive of Hitler. Because like they were following a leader and like they thought like sacrificing like these people would be better for the whole entire nation from what they thought. But like, if one person sacrificed and said like, hey y'all, do you want to reconsider what you're doing? Like Hitler has dinner with people and like say like, I don't think like these people that you're trying to persecute are really bad at all, or like they're not like the bottom of the crop that you have to get rid of them so that only the elite can like survive in the world. You know what I mean? Like even if it's against that, like whatnot, like just follow, I guess, your main instinct to see what makes you feel right or what makes you feel good.
Thank you, Miss Lee. And Miss Sonia, how about you? When do you sacrifice and when do you not sacrifice?
I'll just make it short. I'll just give what's happening now. I sacrifice in this pandemic. I sacrifice a lot. I sacrifice my time and I sacrifice my. I think I'm sacrificing my social, sacrificing things because of health and safety for my family. So I think that's one thing that I sacrifice. So I don't really go out of my bubble place. So, and if did that, what are the results? Yes, we are safe, and eventually I sacrifice a lot. I always pray and sacrifice that there will be a home vaccine for my lola, for my grandma, and my brother. So eventually it happened. So it rewarded me that it took out a very big block off of my shoulder. They were vaccinated at home. And when I do not sacrifice things? If I know thing that it's not worth it, why do I have to sacrifice for a thing that is not worth it? So, okay. And of course, one more question. Yes or no only, yes or no. After transitioning, do you feel you're still making a sacrifice?
Yes.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Yep.
How about you, Ate Sonia?
Yes.
I love it. Now let's actually read some comments. Wow, what a powerful episode. Miss Lena said, it definitely feels like it. Sonia, the only one. Because we were given the option of choices, we will always have to sacrifice. And hi, Edward Pelayo, by the way, love you so much. Miss Karen said, when you feel happy and you're still getting something good in giving up, that's something of yours, then it is okay. Sacrificing is different from suffering. Very valid point. Yes. So now, again, quickly, what's your final thoughts? And please promote yourself as well on our topic, transgender sacrifice.
My final thoughts for today is I think it's worth it to make sacrifices, but know why you're doing it. And hopefully it's for something good. And, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm Angel Qinan, a registered nurse and an actress. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you like this episode, since we haven't done this yet today, please give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much. And back to you, Ally.
For me, my final thoughts on what's sacrifice is when you feel like when you feel like giving more of yourself, just do it. Don't expect the validation of others when you want to do more. Do it because you want to, not because you want to show off. If that is what your heart says, regardless of what other people will say, then do it. The sacrifice there is, people will always have something to say to you anyway, so just do it. If you want to do more, just do it. Again, my name is AllyCat Castle. If you enjoyed our episode today, please give it a thumbs up. And also, please follow all of us. We're here for you. We are your sisters. We are a family. We may not be blood related, but we consider each and every one of you, and we mean this from the bottom of our hearts, our family. And that's the reason why we do this every week, for you to know that you have a family, you have a home in all of us. Lee, Miss Sonia, go ahead.
My final thoughts actually is just, if you just really wanna, everything that you're gonna do probably is going to have its own ramifications. It may be good, it may be bad. There's also always like two sides to a coin. So whatever you do, there's always going to be different things. And I would just suggest for people that are having difficulties making decisions in life, honestly, really seek therapy. It's just really nice to talk things out and see why the things that you do make you feel a certain way, and you get to like the bottom of your feelings. Sacrifice isn't really black and white like gender. There's like a huge spectrum of sacrifice that you can do, and just don't try to see like it's one or the other, because like there might be option A, B, C, D, E, F to Z, And Lee065 on Instagram. Yeah, follow me all, because I'm cute. You won't have to sacrifice anything for a like. Cost zero.
Thirst trap. And Miss Sonia, final words. Please go ahead.
Warimashita ne, domo arigatou gozaimasu minasan. In Japanese, katte nakaya shinu, katte ba ikuru, tatwa nakereba katte nai. Lose and you die, win and you live. You can't win if you don't fight. Lose and you die, win and you live. If you can't win, you don't fight. Kate na kaya shinu, kate ba ikuru, kate wa nakereba, kate na I. And of course, even our beautiful memories are our sacrifices. So I'm Sonia, the only one, Sonia Agbayani in my Instagram and Facebook, and we are here in Transgender TV with Ally, Angel, and Miss Lee, of course. And of course, arigatou gozaimasu, minasan. And of course, congratulations to the MIQ Queens, Michelle Monte Carlo, CEO, and to the winners, Fusha, Chane, and everybody there. Congratulations.
And good luck, BJ, for your pageant.
And yes, to BJ, good luck on your pageant. And one more thing, Miss Karen said, being kind makes sacrifice less of an emotion and more of a word. Thank you, beauties, for having this platform and the wonderful community here, which makes life less toxic. To all of you, we love you. Please let us know what other topics you would like us to discuss in the following weeks, especially it's the Lent season. We always want to make it current. So please help us in what topics you would like us to discuss next. Until next week, we are here, your Transvenite sisters on Transfers TV.
Thank
We
you.
love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Transfer TV. We love you.